Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Artist. And today's featured artist is none other than the Miss Sonja Richardson. Thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. And whoever is joining us, I'm glad they are too.
Me too. So, if you have any, and thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions for Sonja, please put them in the comments and I will ask them for you. And if not, she will later on, if you're watching the replay, again, thank you for watching the replay. And she will go back and she will answer them for you. So I'm just gonna do a little small talk just now for the people to catch up with us, because sometimes it takes a little bit for them to find us.
Yes.
The computer, it's one of those love-hate relationships with the computer. When they work, we love them. Oops. When we work, they love. When they work, we love them, and when they don't work, we don't love them.
No, and they're too expensive to throw away.
Yes, I agree. So, how are you today?
I am good, thank you.
And you said Stan is doing well.
Stan is doing okay so far. Yes,
Very
yes.
good.
It's always, you never know with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday he asked me. He is really declining. Yesterday he asked me. He has two sisters. They live in Kansas. One of them, they live on a big ranch, and the other one is retired, and she lives in the city of Wichita. But anyway, he asked me yesterday, his younger sister, where she lived.
Uh-huh.
She has lived in that place for 60 years. So I said to him, I said, Stan, I think you know where she lives. He thought a little bit, and he says, is it still Coldwater? That's where she lives. And I said, yes. So it is sad. That's how I feel about it. It's just very sad.
Mm, mm. And he had this, it's been oncoming.
Oh yeah, 25 years.
Oh wow. Well, he's done well for the 25 years, so I mean,
Yeah, it is for me a constant every day what is going to be next,
mhm, mhm.
and he does have good days, not so much anymore, but in the beginning he had good days, and I would think, oh my gosh, there's nothing wrong with him, but he went, and full moon is the worst.
Full moon, really?
Yeah, full moon. Lots of people have issues with full moons. Their temperament changes and all of that, and his definitely does.
Wow, because I mean, I never think of it having an effect, but wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
notice
Yeah.
that. Interesting. Well, as we get older, I'll have to watch out for those things.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, sometimes I think, oh, it's affecting me too.
Well, I figure other things are affecting us. We're women.
Well, that is true. That is true for sure, for sure.
It's like whenever you crave chocolate, you know why.
Yes, yes, yes. I don't so much crave chocolate. I love, chocolate is sweet, but
Sorry. Go ahead.
I love creamy torts.
Oh, okay.
That is my downfall. Thank goodness they don't have them so much here. But I bake a lot.
Do you bake? Do you bake a lot?
Oh yes, yes, yes,
What
yes.
what kind of wonderful, I can't imagine what kind of wonderful things do you bake?
Well, they're all German.
Mhm.
So, I make, maybe Black Forest tort. It's Schwarzwälder Kirsch. It's a chocolate cake with 3 layers of uh, buttercream icing in between, and then a kind of like cherry filling, but I make my own. And then it is ganache over it.
That
It's
sounds so
very good.
yummy.
and then I make Bienenstich, which is oh God, bee sting. Literally translated, yes, and it's a sheet cake, and it has a wonderful bottom, a wonderful top, then really good filling on the inside. You know, Germans are very, very, I don't know. They bake really nice things, you know. And my mother was the most wonderful cook and baker. And anytime when she was asked, like her doctors, it's custom over there when you know, when you have a doctor that is around for a long time and you go to him for a long time, you bring him gifts because he keeps you alive. but she also would bring them, you know, whatever they wanted, and they always asked for her cookies. So she always brought a big box of cookies for them. And I do this very same thing. You know, my friends know they can count on a box of cookies for Christmas.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And it's so funny because I do that too. I bake a lot of cookies at Christmas time, 14, 15 different varieties, and I give them out to everybody, my son's coworkers and my daughter's coworkers. And, you know, so I love doing that.
It's a gift of love, you know.
One of my favorites is Pfeffernuss. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah.
Pfeffernusse.
Pfeffernusse. I love those cookies. Those are like my favorite. And then,
Are they with ginger, right?
yes.
Cinnamon, yeah.
Yep.
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 And then they have a little white glaze over them.
Yeah, I put them in confectioner sugar.
Oh yeah. Okay, you can do that too.
And I do the balls so they're bite sized. So you just pop them in your mouth.
Yes.
But they're wonderful. But yes, I know I had my aunt's mother-in-law was German.
Oh.
And she invited us to Christmas. I had never seen so much food in my life. You could not see the tabletop, you know, the long dining room table. You could not see the top. It had tiers, so multiple layers of food and sweets, and yeah.
Yeah. When you go to, you know, I think most Europeans are like that. When you go to their houses, you will not leave hungry, you know, because, you know, when my kids come over, you know, they come over and they always take home. I don't want any leftovers. I said, you take it home, and they're willing to do that, you know, so yeah. No, I enjoy cooking and I enjoy baking.
That's
one of my favorite things to do besides painting. That's my favorite.
So let's get right to that. Why shouldn't we? The first question is, where are you from?
Okay, I was born and raised in Vienna, Austria, and my father I was all over Europe because of my father. He was transferred a lot, and so we were in 12 different states. So needless to say, I never had a girlfriend because I couldn't never, you know, create that. But I was very happy. I was a single child. I didn't have any brothers or sisters, and I just had a lot of imagination. And my father and my mother really, you know, support.
So were they artistic as well? I mean, I know your mom as a baker, so in some form that is artistry.
Yes. No, my mother was a seamstress. She was a learned seamstress. You know, she had, yes. And she didn't need a pattern. She could do it without. And I always get the comments from my cousins because they know, you know, they're amazed. She could make a men's suit without a pattern, you know. And my dad, you know, when they started doodling here, you know, my dad doodled all the time when he was on the phone, and the most amazing things he created, So yeah, they were pretty good.
Did you get to save any of those? Did you find them?
No,
No.
no, no.
I wish I had saved my mother. My mom did the same thing. She was like your mom. She didn't need a pattern. She could see something in the window and go home and make it. And then she doodled also while on the phone. That's the only time on the phone she would doodle. So
Yes,
I wish I had saved those. Isn't that small world?
Yes.
So when did you start painting?
Well, I started quite early. I don't remember it, but we had they organized the last school I was at. They organized a get together, like a school reunion, and I happened to go over there. They organized it when I was there, and they told me they asked me what I was doing now, and I said, "Oh, I'm a teacher. I paint," and they said they would have not said that is not what I'm doing. I mean, they said, yes, we knew you were going to do that, because when I was maybe 8, 9 years old, I was carrying around a sketch pad all the time wherever I went, and I was just sketching and doing and being creative. So about 9. But then, I grew up. I went to get a job and married my husband, and came over here when I was 19. And one day we went to a craft store close by, and I saw all of that. And at home, everything is painted. Houses, everything on the outside, decorative painting, not just wash. No, decorative painting. And so I was used to that kind of thing, except here you don't do the outside. But then I went to the shop, and oh my, I thought I was in heaven. So I started to paint in oils and acrylics. And first in oils, I spent $50 my first class, 4 weeks. And, at that time I thought, oh my God, that's so much money. But, now $50 doesn't get you anywhere. And I've done it ever since. 45, 50 years now. And
So
I've been very lucky.
so your oldest child was what, like 5?
Well, the oldest one, Stan, my older one, he was 5.
5, yeah. So
And Bob was 1. And I had a cousin. It was only once a week when I went to class. She would watch the kids. She had 2 boys, so it was just fine. Yeah.
And your cousin lived in America as well?
Yeah, all of my cousins live here in town in Wadsworth. Yes. When they were sponsored, their sponsor, I wasn't sponsored. I mean, I married an American, but when they were sponsored, their sponsor lived in Wadsworth. And so that's how they came over here in Wadsworth, and they have never left.
Wow, what a story. That's so wonderful. What was there a particular artist that influenced you when you started painting?
Over here?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Well, I was a self-taught Mary Jo Leisure, oils, and I bought her books, and one time I had the opportunity to go to her house. She had a beautiful home and a great big barn to buy, and everything we painted there was every day something different. And if we painted daisies all day long, you would get stuffed daisies, dishes were daisies. Everything was daisies. Strawberries the next day, everything was strawberries. I mean, it was fabulous. I think she had, I'm not quite sure how many bedrooms she had, but I think she had maybe 6, 7 bedrooms, and they were so that 2 people and sometimes 3 people could sleep in one bedroom. They had bunk beds and whatever. It was the best experience I've ever had. I mean, she was so gracious. And at the same time, she was still in charge of the magazine. And I thought, the girl that I went with there, a good friend of mine, she was also a painter, and I had and recently, maybe a year or 2 ago, somebody showed the cradle again that I had painted stroke works and stuff. And my girlfriend said to me, take that cradle with you and show it to Mary Jo. And I did. And she says, I want you to leave it here. I want to put it in the next magazine. And so she did. So yes, it was a great experience. But then, oh my gosh, let me see. There are so many. I'm terrible in names. It's not that I don't want to remember. It's just I don't remember. But, right now when you ask me like that, yeah, I don't remember. Bobby Takashima in acrylics. She is a good friend of mine. She is just fabulous. I've taught at her shop, and yes,
There's so many, I know.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And her and I room together when we go. Net is really almost the only place now when we go, and we room together, and one finishes the other one's sentence. It's like we're sisters. Yes, she is darling.
Isn't that amazing to find a relationship like that? It's kind of creepy, but in a good way.
Oh, yeah. And, when I pick up the phone and I call her, she always answers the phone. And we pick right up where we left off, and yeah.
That's wonderful.
It is great. It really is great. Yes.
I love that industry for that that's one of the reasons this industry is like, I feel like we're always family. When I go to Net or anywhere, if I go to Vegas, if I go to, when Hoot was live, we're just all family.
Yes. And I feel the same way. I feel blessed to have so many good friends, and we don't see each other very often, but when we see each other, we pick right up where we left, and so yeah, it's wonderful. Lots of friends, they invite me to come to their houses and visit and stuff, and I have done that, but right now I can't because of Stan. So but yeah, they're gracious. They kind of come here. I invite them here. Bobby couldn't come. I mean, she stayed in Wandsworth, but I have cats, and she's terribly allergic to cats.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, I told her next time she comes, we're going to stay in a hotel and just paint.
That'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
When did you start teaching painting?
Okay, I started teaching painting after about 10 years. I took classes, I did my own thing, and then, and again, I can't think of her name, but she really put a bug in my ear. At that time, she ran Columbus, the show, Hoot, and she called me up one day and she said, why don't you put some patterns? I save a table for you. I shouldn't say that, but she's dead.
Oh, no.
She will save a table for me and just bring some patterns and, whatever. And I said, I can't do that. I have nothing. And so but I think I had 2 or 3 months to do something. And I mean, I don't want to brag, but by the first day, I had sold out.
Wonderful.
So I went back home. I had a wonderful accountant. I went back home. I called him before I went back home. I said to him, "Do you have paper and ink?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Can I come over and run off some patterns?" His wife was a student of mine, and all night long we worked, him, his wife, Stan, and myself, and put 50 more patterns together, not of one, but I think I may have had 15 or 20 patterns, but I mean, I never thought you could make money from paper.
Judy says, does the name Laureen Ucker sound familiar?
Yes, that's her.
That's what she said.
Yes, Laureen, that is the one that, yes, she was wonderful woman, wonderful. And her daughter was very involved. And in who too, yes. Oh, yes.
So she encouraged you to sell at the convention. And did you teach at that convention as well? Or did that come?
No, I did not. There was no way I could do the booth, and she finally said to me, "I don't care what you say, you're going to come and teach." So then I did. And, I was lucky enough. Everything that I submitted, I always had a full class, which was wonderful, And yeah, they just like the stuff. Now, I have to tell you now, times are so different with, the business, because you always have to reinvent yourself, just reinvent. And I love to do that because I get bored, so I always do something different, and they know it. When they see me, is there anything different on your table? Or, yeah.
It's good though, because it keeps your brain active and
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And when I paint, and I've heard from other teachers, I don't sketch out first. I choose a piece of wood, and that piece of wood inspires me, and then I just start painting. The worst part about it, because I don't stain, I just base coat. The worst part is, what should be my background? What color? And after that, it's a snap.
So do you start with your background first, or do you put the elements on and then determine the background?
No, I start with my background, and then I just, whatever comes to mind, and there's no stopping.
Do you have a favorite subject matter?
Well, I like to paint fairies. I like to paint Halloween. I never have put myself in a corner where I only paint one thing, because I love everything. And, so I am not, just in one little niche. I like to do everything. And, it's been good. Very good.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I own several of your patterns myself, and I've painted a lot of them. A lot of them, I just look at them and go, "Ooh, they're so beautiful." And I've not ever painted them, but they're beautiful.
We all have that. Yes, yes, yes.
So how do you come up? So your inspiration is the surface, and that's how your designs, how you come up with them, or it just.
Well, I have an idea in my head, and then I'm looking for a surface. Of course, I have, a double garage full of wood. I have a shed in the back, 24 by 15, full of wood. And I have to build a lean-to, 12 by 12 because I was running out of space. And so I have lots and lots of stuff. And, you know, the only bad part about it is you never think wood gets old, but wood does get old. You know, you know, we don't use so many cutout hearts anymore in a board, or, you know, stuff like that. But yes, I have something in mind. I pick the board and off I go.
Wow, like magic. I'm sure it's like do you have I mean, I know that you're working with acrylics now, but is that your favorite medium, or do you prefer oils? Yes. Acrylics?
No, you know, I started out in oils because acrylics were not available at that time. And so then they started to paint in acrylics. And so I liked it because you didn't, I had kids, they would come by and put their finger over it, and, you know, there went my beautiful painting. But so I went to acrylics, and they could no longer do that. But yes, no, and I like the instant gratification. I like that, you know, it's dry. But I learned from Mary Jo, which I did not know. I don't know how many cans of Krylon we use to spray dry. I mean, yes, a lot. Yes.
So that's not good for your health.
No, well, we went outside, but still, and I just, you know, I like acrylics.
That's me too. That's my love. Is there a favorite technique? Do you have a favorite technique?
Well, I think I started out with pity patting, slip slapping, whatever you want to call it, the background. I always say the slip slap is the bra of the painting. Because, you know, you want to have something that holds it up. And so, I've started to enhance the background, you know, and really nobody has did that 40 years ago, you know. And so now, slowly but surely, you know, people are doing the same thing. And I think it makes it a little more, not realistic, but softer looking, you know, when you have a little different background, not just one color, you know. Yeah. But it is not really, you know, I definitely, everybody says they look at something and then they know I designed it and I painted it, you know. I myself cannot see that. I just paint and paint and paint. You know, I always paint in the same style. So I guess that's what it is. You know, like Bobby Nakashima. You look at something and you know that was her. Or never can think of her name. No. Beautiful painter.
Give us a clue.
Yes, when I was at Net last 2 years ago, she had, I don't know how many patterns. I bought each and every one and the matching board.
Lynn Andrews?
You know what?
Lynn Andrews?
No.
Not her?
No. Red hair.
Red hair.
Not Shara.
Sandy LaFleur has red hair sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sandy LaFleur has red hair sometimes.
No, not her.
Red hair.
No, she's been in the business for a long
Maxine Thomas?
Maxine Thomas. Yes. She had about 15 new patterns. I bought each and every one of them. They're still in the box underneath my desk.
Yeah, for your spare time.
Yes, in my spare time.
I had a lot of Maxine Thomas. I told her, I said, my living room used to be all Maxine Thomas. It was all that Americana, early Americana kind of design. So I have several of that painted. So, but you're right.
Yes,
You
yes.
can tell, you can say a Bobby Takashima and you say, that's who that is. And I see it in your work. I can say, yes, that's a Sonja Richardson work. That's definitely, so yeah, it's funny though, that you don't see it, that you don't see that you have a certain unique style. So,
Well, I am really very proud, and I don't know if I ever had told her, but every once in a while when she has come up with a wonderful idea now. Um, uh, See, I can't think of a name. Has a blog, has she's been painting for you.
Amy Mogish?
No, Amy.
Yeah, classic Amy Joanne. Yeah, she has a blog. Yeah.
Yes, she does the chalk work and all of
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. And I wrote her about that several years ago when she started that chalk painting. I said, Amy, let me tell you, I now know when I look at something that it was you. Her pattern, and I think that really, I think every painter or every designer needs to strive for that, because you want to be different. You want to be recognized. And so, yes, she's doing a wonderful job.
She is. And she's a lovely human. She's a wonderful lady.
Yes. Yeah, she's been at my house traveling through. I don't know. I think we may have come from Columbus, and they came, and she still talks about my backyard. I have lots of flowers, perennials.
Oh, beautiful. So gardening is another one of your hobbies?
Yes. Except now it's getting a little harder and harder because, I used to do it in one day, all of it. Now it takes me 2 weeks.
Yeah, I hear that from my mom too. What is your favorite brush? Do you have a favorite brush?
I do. And I mentioned it in my bio, but I still have some. For instance, this is, I work with big brushes, 1 inch. And, I do a lot of side loading. So if you side load a small area, that brush gets to be smaller. And I have found out, and I had this 1 inch, and then I had some mop brushes that I developed, and I was the only one who sold them. And but when business went down, because I had to invest a lot of money into the brushes, and then I had to wait maybe a year to recoup my money. And yes, but yeah, it is this is the other brush that I have. Oh,
so are these your own brushes?
Uh-huh.
These are your own brushes, like the brush you worked with a brush company to design brushes for you?
Dove made them, and I loved his brushes. And they held up wonderful. Right now, I am in need of brushes because I run out of my own. But yes, that long brush was like maybe not quite a 1/4 inch shorter than the normal 1 inch, and you got a lot of bounce on that. You could push down, and that paint just rolled right off of the brush. It's a fabulous brush. If you ever run across somebody that has a brush of mine, they will tell you.
So, and Dove no longer is making your brushes, or is Dove even?
But they could again, if I rethink it or whatever. But I also have, and maybe that's a tip for painters. I have 2 mop brushes, and when I sold my kit, I sold 2 mop brushes with them. And what I decided, because not only beginners but intermediate painters, when you mop something, you either mop dark or you mop light. And so mop brushes don't like to be washed out because then you can't use it. So what I told the girls, keep one for dark, and since it has a black handle, keep that one. And then either paint the brush handle white or put tape on it. And then immediately when you look down, oh, that is my light brush. So, and it is very helpful for beginners, or, if you can't, quick enough. And, mop brushes, you got to use quick before it dries up.
So that way it keeps it from contaminating,
Yes, yes.
I like that tip. I'll have to remember that on Thursday. We have tips from the table on.
It is very, very helpful because, I mean, why would you want to have red in something light,
Yeah, I never thought of that. So thank you. And if I don't remember people, remember on tips, tips from the table on Thursday in our Facebook group, I put a post up every day and it's something different. So Thursdays are tips. So people can write their tips there. So if I don't remember to put it there next Thursday, somebody put it up, and Sonja says, do this.
And it really is wonderful because you don't have to worry that your dark gets into your light.
Yeah.
And,
it's a good one. Thank you for sharing that. So that was really the next question. One was, what's your best tip?
Well, the other tip I have, we used to tape quite a bit, and I still do a little bit of taping, but it always lifted up it always ran underneath the tape, so now what I tell them, and I don't know if you know that, but, now I tell them, go ahead, tape the area that you want to, make the line, and then base coat over the tape in the color that is your base coat. And then put your stripe or whatever you want on it and pull off the tape, and nothing will be under that tape because you sealed it off with the paint.
That's an excellent tip. I've had bleeding underneath my tape several times, and then I have to go back and I have to, fix it. Not that way. Excellent. Excellent. What a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for sharing that. And people are like, they say to me, I don't have any tips. I don't know what to put. And I'm like, it's things that you don't think about, but that you do that could actually help the next person, just like that. Base coat over the tape with the base coat color, and it's something you do naturally.
Yes. I don't even think about it.
Right.
I do it.
Right. Yes. But someone like me had never heard that before. And I've been in the industry like 30 years, and I'm like, I never heard that before, but that makes so much sense.
Yeah, I am really a person that likes to take shortcuts. I am a lazy painter, except I paint really fast. But I don't like to mess around, with, and the other thing I tell the girls, they always say, mine doesn't look like yours. Of course it can't. I paint different. But I myself say to myself, when I paint something and with the girls, and I, of course I mess up. But then I say to them, well, that was the apprentice painting. When the master comes in, she'll fix it.
That's so wonderful. Oh my God, you're right though. But I always say, when the teacher does have a little mishap, that it helps. I think the lesson is greater because it helps us.
Absolutely. Yes. And I don't try and hide it. When I make a mistake, I say, oh, my first mistake. I point it out, because we do. But I tell you what, the mistakes that you make are one of the most happiest mistakes because something else always will develop out of that. And I don't mind having mistakes.
I had a class once with Helen Barrick. You remember her?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. She looked very close.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I felt very fortunate because she was one of my first inspiration. I aspired to be like her, you know, and so she's
so many out there that I love.
Yeah, she said, she goes, okay, it was an I. I want you to trace the I and I want you to make a mistake. And we're all like, what? And she says, if you trace the I perfectly the first time, you've learned nothing.
You're right. That is so true. Yes, yes, yes. See? Yeah.
I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten those words, you know?
Well, the other thing like that, there's lots of girls that, teachers that put the pattern on vellum so that the students can just trace it off. I never, ever do that.
Mm-hmm.
I let them trace the pattern. That's the only way you learn how to draw. Because if you repeat and repeat, and that teaches you how to draw.
I agree because I have a hard time with drawing, and I never thought I would ever be a designer because I never had the formal training, or it's like there's a disconnect between what my eye sees and what my hand produces. And but you're right, after constant tracing and tracing and tracing, that I can do some basic shapes. I can get some basic elements down without having to take a picture and trace a photograph, So I agree with you. I agree with you 100% on that one. Is there a medium, a subject, or a technique that you haven't done yet that you'd like to try?
I have always asked, is this watercolor? I have never painted in watercolor. And Susan Shiwi, I love what she does. I mean, it's just fabulous. I have never tried it. I think I might like to try that.
That would be fun. I can see why people would ask you too, because you have such a soft touch in your designs that they almost looked watercolorish, and because your application of
I don't outline anything, I just let it flow into each other. And I think that is also a little bit of the watercolor technique. So yeah, I wouldn't mind doing some.
That would be wonderful. We'll have to get Susan Shiwi, see if she wants to come do a webinar for us.
Okay, yes.
So that brings us to, what is your project that you'll be teaching next week for the Artful Webinars convention?
Okay, I gotta take this thing off. Okay, here it is.
Beautiful.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, maybe a little.
There's a lot of detail in there that, Look at the gingerbread house.
Yes. It's right up my alley, and the reason I did the tree, I just didn't want a regular tree. This tree is all made out of snowflakes and stars. It just has a green background, but it's a lot of fun, to do. And then, the gingerbread, and right here is the house. And my designs, that's another thing, is you have to look to see it all. There's, some people say, oh my God, I didn't see that. So yes. And I have fun doing that. So yeah. So hopefully people will sign up and take the class. It's super, super simple, and learn a lot, my style, how I do it, no base coding,
That's awesome. I love it. I love the coloring. I love the colors that you use, the combination.
Mhm.
So, but you're right. And your drawing, your drawings, your paintings draw us into them because
Mhm.
like you said, there's always, every time you look at it, you're going to see something different. You're going to see something
Yes,
new and wonder why you didn't see them before. So
right,
there's,
right. And I don't do that intentionally. It just happens, you know.
it's the magic.
Yes, yes. Well, my thing is more is better, but not really when you teach. Because I'm thinking, why in the heck did I do that? I mean, I have enough on the board. Now we have to do another thing. So, but no, I really, and my house is like that. I mean, it's full.
But it's
My
beautiful.
daughter-in-law is a minimalist, and yeah, she can't understand how I can live like that. If you take my stuff away, I will get sick. You know, so I enjoy stuff. But I've stopped buying because I may have only 10 more years to go, and who needs all that?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. You're still young yet.
I'm 74.
That's young. My mom is going to be 92 this year. 74 is
Oh
young.
my! Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful. Oh yes, my mother always wanted to be 100, but she got arthritis terribly and didn't want to be 100 no longer.
No, how long did she last?
86.
86. See, so you've got several more years to go.
Yeah.
My mom is like, she always has this goal. She has to live longer than somebody. So she's got to now live longer than her oldest sister. So that's a couple more years. I'm like, if Betty White can be what age she is, I think is she almost 100? Then you can live to be 100, Mom.
Right. No, I think you have to have goals. I know my mother always, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can live till my grandsons are married,
That would
or
be nice.
maybe I can live. I don't think I will see that because those two are 10 and 12. So, and the other two I don't see. But anyway, it's a long ways away. So,
It is. Well, you got to strive for that, right?
oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So are you doing other Zooms? Are you going to do another Zoom for us?
Well, I am going to do some ornaments for um, Joy. She says, you can do it, you can do it. And I said, well, I might. It's nothing written in stone. And then Carolyn would like me to repeat the class that I taught, that heart,
For the memory boxes?
yes,
Yes.
yes. He wants me to repeat that. So I am. And I am, we talked about the house.
Yes.
If you want me to show
Yes,
it.
please do. And it's Carolyn Swayze, by the way, for anyone who's interested. Carolyn Swayze, she's all over Toll Painters Unite, and she's White Mountain Decorative Painters Guild. I love that house.
No, I have quit. See, the last time I showed it to you, these two were not painted yet, and they still are not. They've gone on to something else. So here is, I like to put things on, and they're not hard to get. Most of the things I have at my painting table or in a drawer or something. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. And this was a book, so it only came up to here. And then you can open it. Yes, you can open it.
Wow.
And so it is this. And then I decided, okay, book is boring. I'm going to make it a Hansel and Gretel house. So that I built up this roof right here. And yeah, that's what happened.
That's going to be gorgeous when she's done. I just love that house.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so other than that, my priority is Stan,
Yes.
and it's very hard. It's so hard. In the morning, I get up early. If you ever want to catch me, you can call me before 8 o'clock. But in the evening, at 8, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
I need that. And Stan, 8 o'clock, I get up and I get my things done that I need to get done. And he gets up about 11:30, 12 o'clock. He stays up till 2.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
That's part of that illness that you can't sleep.
Mm. Mm.
But, other than that, yeah, he goes outside, I have to be with him because he does stupid stuff. He climbs up on the roof. We have a 2-story house. He climbs up on the roof and cleans out the gutters. Now, he used to do that, but he can't anymore.
Well, he remembers he used to do that. They have to be
My
done.
neighbor next door, she called me up. That was last summer. She called me up and she says, "Did you know Stan was on the roof?" I says, "Just call me again when he's down."
Oh my God.
But I did go outside and, he could not get that down.
Oh,
So
no.
thank goodness she has a college son that goes to college, but it was vacation. So Jacob went upstairs and got him. He thinks he can do all of that, but he can't. So
That's so scary.
yes.
So
But it is what it is, and I love the man.
and he loves you too. We know that. We know that.
I think so.
That's a wonderful, wonderful story the two of you have. It's a wonderful story. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, yes.
I did put in the description of this live that you can contact Sonja by emailing her. So do you want to tell them your email address verbally?
Yes, and I'll give you the reason why there's so many people, and I know, just on Facebook, they say, do this or do that. I cannot do that because I have to have it in a form where I can save it and just print it off. And so that's why I don't want them to contact me on Facebook or, private messaging is okay. I check that more often, but email is my favorite. And email address is sonjastreasures@aol.com.
So there you have it, ladies. And if there are any gentlemen, because we do have men in the group.
Yes.
So that if you want to contact her, feel free to do so. And
anytime. And if they have, I've had a girl, she just started painting and she bought a pattern of mine. I walked her through that pattern online. I don't mind. Hey, these group of people have given me a lot. Yeah. And I really appreciate it.
And we appreciate you and your talent and sharing with us your talent. So any questions from the audience? Thank you for hanging in with it for the last hour with us. I know that Sonja has tons more stories to tell, but I told her I'd only keep her an hour. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the comment section. And I just thank you so much, Sonja. You are a treasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Next week is the convention. It starts on Tuesday, goes straight till Sunday. And so if you haven't joined and you want to join, contact me, support@cindyharrisonart.com. Next on on the Artfully Connected Facebook group, I am going to be having some more interviews and we're going to have some more lives. So check those out. We're doing coloring on cards. I also am introducing card making to the group. And there's a mother and daughter team who make cards, and they're going to show us how to color the design using Copic markers, colored pencils, watercolor. So it's kind of like, I've always wanted to do that, where I call it find your medium. So
Yes,
you can
yes,
find
yes.
what medium you talk best in. So they're going to do that in a couple weeks. So please hang out with us and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.